I love you. Please! Please! God, no! Please!
Vamos lá.
Vai, pode mandar.
Hi!
Hey guys!
Hey!
How have you been?
Long time no see, right?
I know.
How are you?
We're wonderful. How are you doing?
Good, very good.
Good too. Yeah, just plenty busy.
We feel that.
Yeah.
Well, it's so good to see you guys.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Good to see you too. Yeah.
Thank you for also taking that time right now.
Thank you.
Oh, a pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, we're sure you're very busy, right?
A little bit. But it's being excited busy.
Yes.
The busy that we want to be.
Great.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Speaking of busy, all right, can I just shoot the first question? Did you guys see the questions?
Yes,
We
we did.
did,
We
yes.
did.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
you were filming over in Europe, right?
Yes.
How was it? How different is it from the other projects that you guys have made in the US?
Yeah. Oh my God. It was absolutely incredible. We were filming in Spain, and first of all, I've never been to Spain before, and that was just such a beautiful, beautiful location. But it was really cool working with different people, because a lot of the crew was, were from different countries. So some were from Ireland, some were from France and Spain, and like all of these different ethnicities and backgrounds. And it was beautiful to see all of the different perspectives and the different experiences coming together and collaborating into creating, a collective vision. So that was definitely one of the things that I came back and was like, I absolutely care so much about this and want to bring into our productions, which is more diversity, and walking into it with having an open mind to hear the different, perspectives that when it comes to how to make something or create something, and not be just set in your way, which is, I think everyone could benefit from that. So yeah, it was such a beautiful experience, and I want to cultivate more of that for sure.
Definitely.
And everything that we do.
So speaking of your projects, recently you guys released a new scene from the ending of ACOWAR. So why did you choose this scene specifically? Because it's such a heartbreaking scene, but so much emotions. So why did you choose this scene?
Well, we love the heartbreak.
We love the
We're very drawn to the.
yeah, to all of the things that pull at your heartstrings. Well, for that specifically, I wanted this scene or a couple scenes put together because it's the end of the arc that we have created with our Farrah and Reason's journey and the relationship, and it is also the final few chapters of ACOWAR. So it kind of completes Farrah and Reason before we go to Silver and Flames, which is more focused on Nesta and Cassian, and that was, I felt like that's the ending that needed to happen. While simultaneously giving it the revival of like not just the heartbreak and leaving it in like the death, but also
giving them like their happy ending.
Yeah, their happy ending that they deserve, and
we also wanted to give
that.
you guys like the ending that you deserve from us, while keeping it within something that we ourselves can
and
do.
Are able to do.
Like we would love to do like a whole war battle sequence.
That would be epic.
But that's also like a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of just was the next natural decision to choice to make.
And at this point, we can basically put all your channel together and create a movie of the whole series, right? Because you have some scenes at the beginning, you have some scenes in the middle, so we practically have a whole movie
like
ready.
A big trailer.
That was exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
Like my vision for the series was that to create
get like
all of the arc,
the main like pivotal scenes that can be put together.
Yeah, which is great, right? Because those pivotal scenes are the ones with the biggest number of fan arts. So now we actually have something to watch, right? We don't need to rely on just pictures.
And just pictures, and I look at them all the time, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so exciting, or this is, how can we make that? Let's bring that to life.
I remember Carla saying like, no, the scream's like this big moment. Like, there's so much fan art of like the scream. So then we wanted to like really emphasize that by utilizing like slow motion and also making like the audio kind of like cut down, so then like it's more silent and. Yeah, just
make it all flow together.
Make it all flow together really well.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that you guys look at fan art, so you really know what the fans want to watch and something like this.
Yeah.
No, it definitely feels like it's tailored. Right. It's beautiful.
That makes me really happy because, also having a massive fan here who is also a creator. So, I definitely want to make everyone happy. No matter where they are on the scale of like Sarah J. Maas lover.
Especially like because you want to honor the books and everything
so much. Yeah,
and because like it is really different sometimes when you see something change from like book to screen.
Yeah.
So
there's so much that goes wrong.
Yeah, there's so much that can go wrong.
Yeah. So like,
stay as true to the book as possible.
Totally.
And speaking of that, what were some challenges in sticking to the book as much as possible and adapting the scenes?
Quite a few, you might say.
Well, with this one specifically, because it's such a bigger scale, like we were working with bigger numbers, bigger sets, bigger everything.
So much more equipment, so many more people.
Yeah, putting it together, when you're working with so many different variables, a lot can happen, or, things happen very last minute that you need to pivot and work with. And so bringing it all together was a little bit of a chaotic experience, but also a beautiful experience, because that's like sort of what producing is. But, there was so many moving parts and elements that were happening. And even the day of filming, like when we were filming, a storm hit. So we needed to work with all of that and protect equipment, protect our actors, protect everybody, but also get the footage that we need. And that's things like you really have to work with immediately and be able to move and pivot,
Be really adaptive to things that arise in the moment.
Yeah.
Because it can be really a lot harder than you might think.
Yeah, totally.
Especially with like the length of everything and stuff.
Yeah.
And like on the editing side, wow.
There was so much with that.
There was so much with that. Like Carla was saying, with like the storm that came in, we had to protect the camera by putting a plastic covering over it. And then when you mix that with wind and rain, it makes the audio completely unusable.
Yeah.
So then I'm having to pull audio from different coverages and different takes to try and like put it over these people's mouths.
So that you can hear a very good thing.
You can hear a very good thing and you don't hear all the craziness. And like the crickets at the end, for example, like that
was actually a lot.
Those are real crickets.
Yeah.
And I had to like edit around the crickets because sometimes they were like louder in someone else in like my coverage versus Carla's coverage. So I'm having to like balance them out. And then also like when I'm cutting, I'm not just cutting around like the flow of the story. I'm also cutting around the flow of the crickets.
Yeah.
Because if it like cuts too soon, then it like you hear it and then it's like, ooh. So it was
There's a lot of
elements to work with in this one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a huge puzzle that you have to put together.
Yes,
all those.
Exactly.
Very much so.
And you said you speak about the post-production. We had a lot of CGI and special effects with the cauldron, the tattoos, the wings. So how was it for you guys to work with it this time? I think it's a larger scale than the other scenes, right?
Absolutely. It was so beautiful because
we had someone outside, Stephen Burchell.
Yeah, he is our VFX editor, and it was wonderful to sit with him and be like, all right, this is how this looks like, and pulling from a lot of different fan edits and stuff, and I'm like, this is how the vision is, and seeing him bring it to life in the way that we wanted him to, like we wanted it to come out, which was absolutely, did such a phenomenal job. It was so incredible to get to see it. And I mean, when you're working with really, really good people, like one feedback and that was
change
it,
it all. Yeah, like he was very easy to work with and communicate with and like adjust changes with and just like finding the right reference shots for certain things. Like And then like, but sometimes you're like, oh yeah, that's really easy. Like the wings, for example, you're like, okay, you know, we're looking for like this specific motion, and then it's like, you know, looking for,
like,
and then I'm like,
specific.
we're YouTubing videos like birds
like
fly.
How does a bird fly? How can we recreate that?
Yeah, we're looking for like
a
swoosh
like,
and
minutia.
yeah.
It was really cool to see it all come to life.
And then it's like when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, Steven, that looks so good.
Yeah, that was probably our reaction as well, because when I saw the wings, I was like, oh my god, they did the wings.
Absolutely. When he was giving us the samples, I was on set filming, and I actually like freaked out audibly, and I was like, oh my god. And all the other actors around me for the set that I was on were like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Wings.
Yeah, wings.
It was a really cool moment.
I'm just imagining your Google searches back then, like, how do birds flap their wings?
Yeah, like
how does a bat fly?
Exactly, like looking up different sea animals.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of those actors that you mentioned, there were quite a few beloved characters, right, in this scene. So we see all the High Lords. We see a bit more of Amrin, of Morgan as well. So were you friends with the rest of the cast, or were they brought in?
They were primarily all Carla's friends.
Yeah, they're all either actors that I've worked with, but they're all my friends. And if someone that I really wanted, like as Thason or whatever, couldn't, someone knew someone that I'm like, great.
Like a 1 degree of separation.
Yeah, 1 degree of separation. So it was really cool also bringing, you know, a lot of my friends on and being like, also having to break down like, all right, this is the character if you've never read the books or whatnot, and seeing them like inhabit those characters is also really cool.
She knows a lot of people.
Yeah, it was such a fun, and it's always the best when you're working with
people
friends,
that you know,
people that you know and trust,
people that you know
love.
are going to, you know, rise to the occasion, and you can trust them to do their part.
Definitely. So,
you can also give them feedback, right? A bit more openly, like they're more accepted to feedback. So
totally.
Totally
about.
How was for you to adapt the style of the High Lords and Warren and Rain, the clothes, the hair, the makeup?
Yeah. I definitely wanted it to be very, very close to the books without it looking like cheaper cosplay, like Halloween, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when we were looking at the different costume pieces and stuff, I was very specific.
Did actually go to like a Halloween store, and it's just like looking through everything for like the best quality that you can find, and also being like really creative with it. Like, how can we pick these different pieces, which might not be what they're supposed to be,
but then
like
bringing them
tie
together
them all together to look.
Yeah.
For example, like the gauntlets that we had, like
we like
my costume, like the
everywhere.
We got like more gauntlets because like the costume looked plain, and then we like put them on as shoulder pads, and then
layers.
Tied around the belt. We were wrapped up
creative with that. But I also like, you know, along the theme of keeping it very close to the books, of like, we know the colors of, you know, like Tarquin is blue, like we know the different colors, so picking something that not only it looks good material wise and stuff, but also is as accurate to the feel, the style, like how I would imagine the summer court would be, how I would imagine the, you know, spring court would be. So being very intentional with the look and how it is, without like bringing in wigs or dyeing someone's hair.
Keep it grounded in realism at the end of the day, which is, you know, even why we kind of didn't do like the ears, for example, because like,
it didn't look good. And if it doesn't look good, we're not gonna.
We don't want to do it. We don't want to have someone like hide their hair on like a wig that looks like an obvious wig.
Totally.
So then that was like, okay, well, you know, Talen's gonna have brown hair.
Yeah, like it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's kind of adapting. Yeah.